spirulina, that dark green powder you've probably seen in smoothies, capsules, or health supplements. Many people call it a superfood. Others swear it boosts energy, strengthens the immune system, and even slows aging. But is spirulina really that powerful? Interestingly, spirulina isn't new at all. Long before it appeared on health store shelves in the 1970s, people were already eating it centuries ago. Historical records show that the Aztecs harvested spirulina from lakes and pressed it into small cakes that they added to their food. Communities around Lake Chad in Africa were also collecting spirulina, drying it into cakes and using it in soups and stews, a tradition that goes back hundreds, possibly even thousands of years. So this tiny blue-green algae has been part of human diets for a very long time, which naturally raises the question, if people have been eating spirulina for centuries, what actually happens when you take it every day? Does it really improve your health? Are there proven benefits? And are there any risks people should know about? In this video, we're going to look at what spirulina is, what modern research says about its benefits, and what may happen if you start taking it regularly. So, let's start with the basics. What exactly is spirulina? If you've ever seen spirulina supplements, you've probably noticed their deep dark green color. That's because spirulina comes from algae. More specifically, spirulina is a type of microalgae, sometimes referred to as phytoplankton. These are tiny organisms that live in water and play an incredibly important role in the natural world. In fact, phytoplankton are responsible for producing about half of the oxygen on our planet. They also sit at the very bottom of the ocean food chain, providing energy for many marine animals, including some of the largest mammals on Earth, like whales. When scientists look at spirulina under a microscope, they see long chains of tiny cells that twist into a spiral shape. That spiral structure is actually where spirulina gets its name. These cells contain a remarkable amount of nutrients, including protein. In fact, spirulina is made up of about 50 to 70% protein, which is one reason it's often popular among people following plant-based diets. Interestingly, even though it's often grouped with plants, spirulina is technically not a plant. It belongs to a group of microorganisms known as cyanobacteria, sometimes called blue-green algae. Like plants, these organisms use sunlight to produce energy through photosynthesis, which is why they thrive in warm, sunny environments. So, while phytoplankton helps sustain life in the oceans, what happens when humans start adding spirulina to their diet? Let's explore what spirulina may actually do in the body. At this point, you might be wondering, what exactly makes spirulina so special? One reason is its nutrient density. Spirulina is incredibly rich in protein. In fact, it's made up of roughly 50 to 70% protein by weight, and it contains all of the essential amino acids the body needs. That's one reason it's often popular with people who follow plant-based diets. But protein is only part of the story. Spirulina also contains a variety of healthy fats, including omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, as well as compounds like gamma-linolenic acid. These fats play an important role in the body because they help maintain healthy cell membranes and support the brain, heart, and immune system. Then there are the vitamins and minerals. A typical serving of spirulina contains several B vitamins, including B1, B2, B5, and B6, which help the body convert food into energy and support the nervous system. It also provides vitamin E, an antioxidant that helps protect cells from damage caused by oxidative stress. Along with these vitamins, spirulina contains important minerals such as iron, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and zinc, all of which are involved in essential processes like oxygen transport, muscle function, and immune health. Another fascinating part of spirulina is its natural pigments. These pigments are what gives spirulina its deep blue-green color, and they may also contribute to some of its potential health benefits. One of the most studied pigments is phycocyanin, the blue compound found in spirulina. Research suggests that phycocyanin may have anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties, which is one reason scientists are interested in studying it further. Spirulina also contains chlorophyll, the green pigment found in plants. Chlorophyll has been associated with detoxification processes and may help support the body's natural defenses against oxidative stress. And there's one more interesting area researchers are exploring: Some studies suggest spirulina may also influence the gut microbiome, the trillions of bacteria that live in our digestive system, and play an important role in overall health. So, with all of these nutrients and compounds packed into such a small organism, the real question becomes, what does the research actually say about spirulina's effects on the human body? Let's take a closer look. Over the past few decades, scientists have looked at spirulina's potential effects on several areas of health, including energy levels, metabolism, blood sugar, and heart health. For example, one study involving athletes found that those who took 6 grams of spirulina daily for 3 weeks reported less fatigue and improved exercise performance. Researchers also observed that their bodies were able to use oxygen more efficiently during physical activity. Other studies have focused on metabolic health. In one clinical trial, individuals who were overweight took 2 grams of spirulina daily for about 2 months. By the end of the study, participants showed reductions in body weight, waist circumference, and body mass index, along with improvements in cholesterol and insulin sensitivity. Spirulina has also been studied in people with type 2 diabetes. Some research has found that regular spirulina supplementation may help lower fasting blood glucose, triglycerides, and LDL cholesterol, while increasing levels of HDL cholesterol, often called the good cholesterol. There is also emerging research on blood pressure. In one study, participants with hypertension consumed about 2 grams of spirulina daily, and researchers observed modest reductions in blood pressure, along with improvements in certain cardiovascular risk markers. While these results are promising, it's important to remember that spirulina is not a miracle cure. Most researchers see it as a nutrient-dense supplement that may support overall health when combined with a balanced diet and healthy lifestyle. So, with that in mind, how much spirulina should someone actually take to experience these potential benefits? Let's take a look. When it comes to nutrition, it's important not to rely on just one food or supplement. A healthy diet is always about variety and balance. That said, many studies looking at spirulina have used doses ranging from about 1 to 10 grams per day. For most people, a typical daily amount of 2 to 5 grams of pure spirulina powder is considered a reasonable range. At this level, spirulina can provide a concentrated source of antioxidants, vitamins, minerals, and plant compounds. In clinical studies, spirulina has generally been well tolerated, with very few side effects reported. However, when problems have occurred, they were often linked not to spirulina itself, but to contamination. Because spirulina is grown in water, poor quality products can sometimes contain unwanted substances such as heavy metals, bacteria, or other toxins if they are not properly produced and tested. That's why choosing a reputable brand that tests its products for purity is very important. However, this brings up an important question. If spirulina itself is generally well tolerated, when can it actually do more harm than good? Let's take a closer look. While spirulina is generally considered safe for most people, there are situations where it may cause problems. Some individuals have reported side effects such as digestive discomfort, bloating, headaches, or muscle pain after taking spirulina supplements. In rare cases, people may also experience flushing, sweating, or mild swelling. Often, these reactions are not caused by spirulina itself, but by contamination. Because spirulina grows in water, poor production practices can allow contaminants to enter the final product. These contaminants may include heavy metals, harmful bacteria, or toxin-producing algae species. One example is Microcystis aeruginosa, a type of algae that can produce toxins harmful to the liver. Another challenge is that dietary supplements in many countries are not regulated as strictly as medications. This means manufacturers are not always required to prove the safety or effectiveness of their products before selling them. That's why choosing a high-quality spirulina supplement is important. When shopping for spirulina, look for products that are certified organic and tested for purity. In the United States, the USDA Organic Seal is one example of a certification to look for. In other regions, similar official organic certifications can help indicate quality. It may sound surprising, but spirulina grown in natural lakes can sometimes carry a higher risk of contamination because it's difficult to control the surrounding environment. Many high-quality spirulina products are grown in controlled environments, such as monitored ponds or cultivation systems, where water quality and purity can be carefully managed. So, when choosing spirulina, look for products that emphasize certified organic production and controlled growing conditions. So, now you know the basics about spirulina, what it is, why it has attracted so much attention in the world of nutrition, how much people typically take, and how to choose a safe, high-quality product. And one interesting thing to notice is this: spirulina isn't some brand new discovery. People in different parts of the world have been eating it for hundreds of years. What modern science is really doing now is taking a closer look at something traditional and trying to understand how it may support human health. While spirulina isn't a miracle cure, it is a nutrient-dense food that may support overall health when used as part of a balanced diet and healthy lifestyle. Now, we'd love to hear from you. Have you ever tried spirulina? And if you have, how do you usually take it? Powder, capsules, or in smoothies? Share your experience in the comments below. Your story might help someone else in our community. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to support our work and help us continue creating videos like this, you can also send a super thanks by clicking the thanks button below the video. By the way, many of the studies mentioned in this video are listed in the description below if you'd like to explore the research further. Thanks for watching, and we wish you a healthy and wonderful day.